Thanks for being with us, guys. I know, like everybody, summer's gone really quick. Uh, we have all of our guys at this time on campus. We had Josh Mabala, had to be a grad transfer, graduated from Buffalo, and he's been here for a couple weeks. Malik Ewing probably been on campus about 4 weeks. Both those guys are adjusting and doing really well. Right now we're kind of with both things going on from a recruiting standpoint, busy month of July and recruiting around college basketball, and then kind of integrating the practices, getting ready for our foreign trip to the Atlantis. So today is our very first day. You get 10 workouts. And so today is our very first one that you can get the extra practices. So we spread them out through the month of July. We'll do maybe 3 this week, and we spread them out until we leave on July 31st. So excited about our team. Good blend. Obviously, you guys know of the 8 new guys and the 4 freshmen, 4 transfers, and then obviously with the 6 guys returning, and 4 of those guys are on the floor right now. And Dayshawn and Robert are doing some individual rehab and on the floor individual workouts by themselves with no contact.
Joe, go ahead.
All right, Coach. I guess I got a question for one of the returners and one of the new guys, of course. But first, how's Deshawn doing? How is his rehab going? I know you guys posted some clips of him, to get some shots. What has his recovery been like? And what's the transition been like for Javis McKinnis coming in from JSU?
Yeah, Deshawn's rehab, both those guys, but Deshawn's ahead of schedule. I've been so impressed with the maturity level. And it's not the easiest thing for a young guy, especially when he did his hand, then he had his knee, but he's doing individuals skill development on the floor. There's some limits of what he can do. He's not going to do any contact with us this summer. In the fall, we sure hope September, that area right there, that Deshawn's going to be on the floor with us. And so we're excited about where he's at from a rehab standpoint. Javis McKinnis has been one of our biggest surprises. Obviously, him, you saw him. He's going to be one of the most athletic forwards in college basketball, period. And I just think that, boy, he's really starting to develop more skill level, playing facing the floor. He's spectacular around the rim, lobs and playing behind the defense. But his overall approach to how he's getting better and what he's doing in the weight room. We're really, really pleased with Jay.
Nick.
Hey, Kermit, just what's your approach right now to what you're trying to see this month? Obviously, new coaches, new players, a lot of new faces everywhere. What are you trying to gauge right now this far out from the season?
Yeah, Nick, I think everybody in college basketball, with a roster with 8 new players, and obviously you're trying to build toughness together, and that's kind of what we've talked about. We've kind of a little slogan of forward rebels, that we're just looking forward, and with the guys that we have on our team. And it's not a coaching cliche. I thought that in our team, we didn't have good enough pace last year, especially when Dayshawn got hurt. So we're really of how fast, and we're trying to play off of misses and in a way of really trying to get some easy baskets in transition. When you play on a foreign trip, you really start implementing, you speed your process up, which I think is a good thing. And it makes you better the quicker you can get to 5-on-5. So, we've started integrating some more offensive concepts where we can play some 5-on-5. But I'd say the biggest thing, Nick, is just, our guys being together, leadership things, like you can look at, and Lane made the point we're talking about on the Rebel road trip. You can put all these kind of super teams together in the NBA, and sometimes they don't work, just because they don't mesh together. So there's a lot of things about just getting good transfers, new young guys to blend with returning guys, how you play together, being a good teammates, all those kind of things from on the floor, and leadership's been a big focus.
Jared.
I think Joe kind of touched on it a little bit when talking about Javis. Just your thoughts on just this roster defensively now that you have 3 or 4 players in the portal that were formerly defensive player of the years in their respective conferences.
Yep. I think obviously, Javis, what he's done, Theo, who you'll visit with in just a few minutes, defensive player of the year a couple of years ago. He got hampered kind of a little stress reaction last year, shot blocking ability, being able to guard around the goal. Josh Mabala is another guy that he's only been here 2 weeks, but you can tell his physicality, got a great motor. Miles Burns, obviously Miles, led college basketball in offensive rebounds and steals. So yeah, we'll be a much more aggressive defensive team. I think we'll be able to play our 1-3-1. We haven't worked on it yet, but it's going to be something that we're going to be able to do much higher level than last year. So yeah, it'll be a deeper, more athletic, physical team that you can go and be really, really competitive in the non-conference and for sure in the SEC.
John Sokoloff, go ahead.
Hey, Kermit. Sorry, my video, some technical difficulties on our end over here, but kind of talking about Dayshawn, I mean, how much are you kind of looking for him to take a next step in his sophomore year for you guys, you think?
Well, I know if he was totally healthy, he's going to be the top 2 or 3 point guards in the league last year. And he's got great basketball IQ. I mean, I do say this, we've got some really good freshman guards that are going to be terrific. Maury and TJ and Robert. But I think that Dayshawn and Matt are probably one of the most underrated backcourts in college basketball. I mean, and I really say that in a meaningful way because I know their talent, what kind of people they are. The biggest thing is just getting Dayshawn fully healthy, physically. And when he does that, I mean, he's been doing a ton of shooting, so that may be a blessing in disguise. He's really shooting the ball well and just some workout drills, 3s and 2s. Matt's off to a good start. Been under the weather. Would have been with us today, but he's under the weather right now. So for 2 or 3 days, but he's had a great spring and summer.
Nick.
You talked about Deshawn's timeline a little bit. Is there a rough timeline for Rob as well, or is that something that's day to day?
Yeah, Nick, Robert's way ahead of schedule. And I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done. He's really kind of going through live one-on-one work, not just 1-on-0 workouts. He's moving, cutting, shooting. He's not going to be with our team at all either in the summer. I really think, September 1, Robert will start integrating into some non-contact with our team, but fast-paced, full speed. I don't know. I mean, sometimes those injuries take a year, to heal. But I think right now Robert is well advanced in that. But again, it's just going to be kind of how he feels. But we hope that we have Robert in contact stuff, he and Dayshawn both, by October 1st, by official practice. I think we will. I mean, it may be in a limited situation, depending on how they do.
Jared.
Coach James White was a guy who got a lot more minutes as the year went on last year. You said, he wants to be a good basketball player late in the year. Have you kind of seen him grow since then? Do you expect him to kind of take the next step this year?
I sure hope so. I mean, James, God, he's grown. He's well over 6'5". He's gained like 19 pounds. He's 202 pounds. Just lives in the gym. I think James has made a big step athletically and from a maturity standpoint, working his tail off. The biggest thing for James is now in the 5-on-5, be able to play make, really defend in a team setting. He's making progress and all those different things. So we think James is going to have a really good year.
Joe.
Yeah, Kermit, you mentioned the backcourt with Deshawn and Matt. And I just remember, with the injuries and how last year ended and then going into this offseason, are you guys having conversations with Matt in terms of like, hey, his next step of development? You kind of look at him like, hey, you're going to be like our guy, in the sense of we need a lot of production out of you this year to kind of set the tone and carry. So you looking like more of a leadership role for him this season?
Yeah, we haven't really talked in terms of scoring, Joe, but we've talked a lot about the leadership, about Matt's team being in 3 years, Robert Allen, obviously been here, and both those guys have great leadership qualities. You hear their voice a lot more. I hear Matt's voice a lot more. Matt and I watch tape every single day. I mean, you can just, it reminds me of TD going into his senior year. And, I think just Matt's progression, guys, different time level. Now you see the NBA is drafting more older guys than they ever have. Finally, the NBA figured it out, that the experience will help you win, if it's really good players. And so you see that in college basketball. And so a guy like Matt, is 3 years here. He's made great progression, freshman, sophomore year, and he's just on a great track to have a great junior year.
Jared.
Coach, working with the new staff with, Brock Morris and Robert Kirby, all that. I know it's been brief so far since they've been hired and you had the chance to work with them, but what's it been like working alongside them thus far?
Yeah, it's a great blend for our staff. Robert Kirby obviously has been in our state for a lot of years, has won a lot of games, been in the SEC at LSU, obviously from Memphis, worked at Memphis, came from Georgetown. Robert and I have known each other for a long, long time. He's a really good coach on the floor, just great staff member. Brock Morris is one of the most up and coming young assistants in the country. I've known Brock for a lot of years and kind of kept my eye on Brock. And so, yeah, they've both been very valuable in the recruiting process so far. And, you can see we've have one commitment in the 23 and hopefully we're close in the next couple of months, of adding some more really good players to the 23 class.